go live to Toronto, where NDP leader Tom Mulcair is meeting with Canadian journalist Mohamed Fahmy. Let's listen in.
And he's actually dedicating himself to that issue. We also know that our government has to immediately come to the defense of our citizens when they're facing the type of situation that Mr. Fahmy was facing in Egypt. And Mr. Fahmy will now address you, and I can just end by saying that Catherine and I were really thrilled to be able to see him in such good spirits with his wife, Marwa, here today. Thank you. Mohamed.
Thank you so much for the media support we've received from day one in our trial in Egypt. You are part of the reason why I'm here today. And Marwa has been my biggest supporter. And I'm here today specifically to thank you, Mr. Mulcair, and the NDP, and Mr. Paul Dewar for supporting me and for being there for my family and engaging with my lawyers and directly questioning Mr. Harper in Parliament when about the mild stance towards my case. I refused to believe in myself at the beginning that my own government wasn't there for me when I needed them the most. I felt betrayed, and I joined the chorus when I was released on bail, the international chorus that was very angry at the mild stance and the fact that Mr. Harper did not understand the urgency of this very complicated case that was not just about freedom of speech. It was also a geopolitical battle between two nations, Egypt and Qatar. And I am here today, honestly, to just express my gratitude again. And we have spoken about issues related to press freedoms and my intention to continue to champion and support those who are behind bars. We have 200 journalists around the world who are imprisoned and 65 this year who have been killed while doing their jobs. So I do intend to specifically mention that lessons to be learned from this is that the Canadian government and Mr. Harper should realize that a direct, immediate intervention should happen when someone is detained before he is referred to court. That window, whether it's a week or 2 weeks, is the chance for extraction before it becomes complicated. And that's why the Prime Minister should have spoken to the Egyptian president immediately. And even if it doesn't get you out, it gives you a bed, a better prison, anything that could alleviate or help you in prison. And I do believe that any Canadian could be in a similar situation tomorrow morning. Journalists, doctors, the Middle East is in a serious political turmoil at the moment, and any Canadian could be in the same situation. So I do believe that we have to continue to just make sure that we are protected as Canadians and that we all Canadians live. I came to Canada as an immigrant, seeking true democracy, human rights, respect to press freedoms. And then I left Canada during the Iraq War, on the first day of the war in 2003, following that dream of seeing these values being respected on the other side of the world. And today I'm here in the last week before the ballots, and I do hope that I can get a chance to vote, and I intend to vote. And I'm very excited that I'm here with you all, and I thank you again very, very much. And I thank Mr. Paul Dewar and you again, Mr. Mulcair. I remembered something that was really also a big problem for me in Egypt, and it just slipped my mind. The fact that I spent 2 months without my Canadian replacement passport. The Egyptian authorities had lost my passport, and I was released on bail, and I had no Egyptian passport or Canadian passport. And there was no explanation. And the headlines that in Egypt was that Canada's government, again, is not giving its own citizen a replacement passport. And I do believe that this case has really tarnished Canada's image. Of course, Canada was not a player or a reason why I was behind bars, but every tweet, every headline was being translated into the Middle Eastern newspapers. And that really gave Canada sort of a bad image of, is Canada not supporting its citizens? Although Mr. Harper had pledged $60 million of taxpayers' money to Egypt, and he has pledged to train Egyptian police. So I was really hoping that when Mr. John Baird came to Egypt, he would nudge the Egyptian president and tell him, get this guy out. He's a professional journalist. He's no criminal. So I really hope this constructive critique could save other Canadians abroad. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.